Well, I've had a break over the summer, but we're back. Premier League season starts this Friday. West Ham are playing on Saturday, 5:30 kickoff. Make sure for the vlog for that. But my God, are we in for a treat this season? Premier League predictions today. Let's get into the video. Just before we start this video, if you are new to the channel, make sure you smash that like button. Please subscribe. I want to try hit, I don't know what the goal is this year. We gained over 1,000 last season. Let's try and gain another 1,000 this season, and maybe even more. Before we do get into this, can I just talk about West Ham's transfer window? What a transfer window it's been. We've managed to bring in 8 signings so far. Okay, so I'm using the app on my phone, as you can see there, and basically it's in order at the moment of the season. Obviously, of last season it's in order, and it's just added the new teams at the bottom. And I think the team that are going to stay at the bottom is Southampton. I think they're going to be getting relegated and right at the bottom of the table, in my opinion. They won in the playoffs, didn't they? They beat Leeds, who probably deserved to stay up more than them. And yeah, I don't think they're ready for the Premier League. I don't think all 3 of the teams that have come up are really ready for the Premier League. Southampton obviously got Flynn Downs in. Whether they can hold on to Cole Walker-Peters is another question. West Ham was linked with him, but now getting Wan-Bissaka, I don't think he'll be coming. But yeah, I don't mind Southampton. I do like them as a team, but I do think that they're not good enough. I think they're coming bottom. Next here, and we're going for a team that hasn't come up. We're going for a team that was in the Premier League last season, and I'm going for Brentford. I honestly don't think they're that good. Whether they keep Tony for Saudi League or not, it's going to be a big struggle. They got that new striker in, they got injured for, I'm pretty sure it's 3 months, so that's not going to be very good for them. And I just don't think they've got quality. They come 16th last season, and I don't think they're going to improve. I think they're going to have a terrible season. I think they're coming 19th. It's not going to be good for them. Next one is 18th. And sadly, I'm going to say Ipswich. I'm keeping them there. I think they're just... the signings they've made on Liam Delap. How do I know if he's going to have a good season or not? But I just don't think they're good enough. I want them to do well, and I want them to stay up for a new promoted side like I did with Luton last season. Obviously they fell short. I think it's going to be the same for Ipswich this season. I think they're just going to fall short. I think it's going to be a tight at the bottom again with 4 or 5 teams that are all miles behind the rest. And I think Ipswich are going to be unlucky and get relegated. Next we've got 17th, and I'm actually going for Nottingham Forest. I think they're going to have a terrible season. They've made a lot of signings, but they've also had a lot of outgoings. They've lost Niakate to Lyon. I'm pretty sure it's Lyon. Niakate's gone to Lyon, and last season they fell towards the end. Whether they keep all their players throughout the season, I know Gibbs White is probably linked to a bigger club because obviously he showed his quality last season, but I don't think they're going to do well. I think they're just going to do enough to stay up because there will be them 3 teams that are worse than them, and they'll get lucky. 16th now, I'm going for Leicester, and this is a weird one because I'm not sure if they're going to get a point deduction or not, and that's going to change how I put them. If they don't get a point deduction, they're coming 16th. If they do, I probably will think they're getting relegated, but I'm just going off quality here. And they signed that for 2 guys now as well. I feel like they're alright. I still don't feel like the squad's good enough for the Premier League, but I still think them 4 teams below them are going to be worse than them, and if they do get a point deduction, it won't look good for them and they'll be going down. So that's going to be a key factor for them. Also losing Dewsbury Hall, their best player last season, to Chelsea. Not going to be good. They're going to lose him, and they lost their manager to Chelsea. So Chelsea have took their best player and their manager. Not looking good. I don't think it's going to do well for them. I think they're coming 16th, but if they get a point deduction, I probably would move them into the relegation zone. 15th now, and I'm going for Wolves. Of course, they beat West Ham in pre-season, but we didn't play full strength. Like, pre-season don't count, really, but I just don't think they're that good. They've got a couple of good players. They just lost Pedro Neto to Chelsea, another one of their key players, and one of their more dangerous players, and lost Kilman as well, their captain, to West Ham obviously. So lose 2 vital players there for them. Obviously I think they're good enough to stay up, but not good enough to challenge for the top half of the table. A bad season in their point of view, and it's just going to be just to try and just get results and try and build their team for the next season to try and push on. 14th now I'm going Everton. Obviously, hopefully they don't get any point deductions this season because it's a bit unfair. Last season at Goodison Park, I think he'll be up for it this season. Sean Dyche, if he managed to get him playing, that could be a 50-50 one. If he don't start well, then he could go. But if he does start well, then he could get good players. They've lost Amdu Onana, but also they've got Chamiti, who played well in pre-season. O'Brien, Lindstrom and Dyer in. Some naughty signings there. I won't lie. Jacob O'Brien, I think West Ham wanted him at one point. Obviously we've got Tadibo instead, which I think I'd rather him. Yeah, I think Everton will do well. I think they'll be alright, unless they get a point deduction, which is the same thing as Leicester now, put them lower down. But I'm going off of pure team and results and points. 13th now, and I'm going for Bournemouth. Lost Solanke, lost their striker, scored most of their goals last season to be fair, but obviously they did start playing well towards the end of the season. They were unbeaten for a long time and picked up really good results against bigger teams. I think Kluivert's going to have a great season. I think it's going to be a breakout season for him properly, and he might get a bigger move to a club during it or after. But I think, yeah, their team's good enough, and I think it's going to be alright for them. 13th finish. 12th now, and I am going for Brighton. That's a shock one. I'm going them 12th. I just don't think they're that good. They've had their time. They had their 2 or 3 seasons of being up near Europe or in Europe. They got knocked out of Europa League to Roma last season quite breezily. They did well in the group though. João Pedro, he's what a player he is. He's probably their best player by a mile. But yeah, they lost Pascal Gross to Dortmund as well. So another key midfielder they've lost. Replacing with Mats Wifer from Feyenoord, who's a good signing for them, good replacement for him. They've got Minte from Newcastle. I've never seen him play. Never seen him play for Newcastle. Never knew how good he was, but he's gone for 30 million. So I don't know how Newcastle have got that. I don't know how they've done that when no one's ever seen him play before, and they managed to get 30 million. It's like dodgy with the Saudi going on there. We'll have to see. But Ibrahim Osman, I know West Ham were linked with him during, I think it was January. He might be getting minutes more this season. They've got rid of a lot of players and not really seem to replace them. So it's going to be a tough season for them, but 12th finish, I think they're good enough to stay up and good enough to have a nice, safe season. 11th now, and I'm going for Fulham. I quite like Fulham, to be fair. They did smack us 5-0 last season, which I ain't happy about, but they've got a good team. I like some of their players. They did get rid of Decordova-Reid, but they have got Muniz, who's cooking, Iwobi. They've got Smith Rowe from Arsenal. That is a great signing. I hope he does really well there. But yeah, I think Fulham are a good team. Dark horse this season. Anthony Robinson, of course. They did lose Adebayo to Chelsea. They have signed someone called George Cuenca. He could be their replacement for Adebayo. Whether he's good or not, I've never seen him play, so I can't comment. Of course, Andreas Pereira, Ryan Sessegnon back, Adama Traore. They've got a lot of talent, and I think they're going to have a good season. 11th for them. Next is 10th, and I'm going for Crystal Palace. I think they're going to have a good season. I really do. Mateta is cooking. Elise's gone to Bayern Munich. They've got a bit of money to spend. They didn't get much for him though. I thought they would have done better business there. Eze, of course, Kamada, Walton, Gay, if they keep him. I know Newcastle are very close to agreeing a deal with him. Mitchell, Anderson, they've got a very good squad, especially a good starting 11. I think they're going to have a good season. They've got that new guy, I think his name's Said from Real Betis, the Algerian. Against pre-season, he played quite well against West Ham, to be fair. So I think they're going to do very well this season. I think they're going to come 10th, and they probably, maybe even could finish higher. Next is 9th, and I'm going for Chelsea. This is because everything happened with Enzo. Everything happened with all the French players in the team. It's toxic dressing room, as I see someone say on TikTok, which I agreed with. I think it's a Chelsea fan. It's not going to be good there this season. New manager in. It's just a bit. They have got so many players. It's going to be hard for him to find the best 11. Enzo. He's got a tough job to try and get the best out of these players. Todd Bowley doesn't have a clue what he's doing. He sent Gallagher to Atletico Madrid. He's done a medical, everything, and now he's coming back all of a sudden, and it might not even be on. And then he sent Lukaku, Trevor Chalobah, by the way, he's been there since he was like a kid, and he's banned him from the training ground and sent him to the under-23s or whatever. So they're being mistreated these players who have good servants for the club. Conor Gallagher, him, Lukaku was not really, but you know what I mean. And he's just treating them like a piece of shit. So it's not going to be good there. I don't know what is going on at that club. Whether they can find a good 11 quick is going to be a struggle. Yeah, it's not looking good. 8th now, I'm going for West Ham. I think we're going to have a good season this season. It's looking promising. New management, Julian Lopetegui, them 8 new signs as I mentioned previously earlier. The only reason I don't think we've come higher, as people were predicting us, is because you got to take time for it to gel. Of course, in pre-season we hadn't had the best pre-season. We've won like 1 game, of course, but it's all about performances. We did play well in our last one against Celta Vigo, and it's all Lopetegui's just got to find his best 11. Of course, you've got so many attacking options. You've got Paqueta, Bowen, Kudus, Antonio, Fulkrug, Somerville, Guilherme. You've got so many attacking options. He's got to find the right balance. He's got to find his right team. He's got to find the right balance in the midfield. Of course, people are putting Paqueta with Alvarez and Kudus. That's 2 attacking. We're just going to get split open. We're going to have to play 2. I think we're going to have to play Alvarez and Rodriguez together, which means we're going to have to sacrifice one of them brilliant attackers on the bench. Of course, he's going to be good as a super sub. We've got a lot of squad depth and good for the cup competitions, all this squad depth as well. So it's going to be a good season. I think 8th, and then maybe next season, if we do really well, we can go higher. But all about building, we're transforming from a whole new style of play that Moyes is to how Lopetegui plays. All the players have been playing that for the last 5 years, and they're going to have to change. So it's going to be a rebuild season, kind of, and try and get used to what playing for West Ham's like. And yeah, I think we're going to finish 8th. 7th, and I'm going for Newcastle. I don't know if they're going to be good this season. Of course, Isak is going to be cooking. We know that. He always is. Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon, really good. Trevor Tonali's playing. I'm not sure. He probably is back soon. Trippier's on his way out, I'm pretty sure. But they've got a really good team. But yeah, I think they need a couple more signings to try and, improve. Of course, they missed out on Europe with Man United winning the FA Cup, which means they're going to be focusing on the Prem and the Cups, as are West Ham. And I think they're going to get into the Conference League for the next season. 6th now, and I'm going for Aston Villa. I think they've set the bar so high for themselves last season. I know they've done some brilliant transfer business this season. Philogene being one of them. What a player. I actually really do like Philogene as a player. Morgan Rogers, I think he's going to be brilliant this season. Watkins, we already know. They sold Diaby, which is good business because he weren't that good for them anyway. I feel like they're good enough to get Europa League. Obviously, they've got Champions League to focus on, like Newcastle did last season. I think they're going to fall off in the league, but I think they're going to do alright in Champions League, to be fair, and I think they'll do well in cup competitions as well. 5th now, and I'm going for Spurs. I think they're going to have a good season, to be fair. Obviously, they're in Europa League, and I think they're going to do well in there. Of course, they've just signed Solanke, which is a good striker for them to have, and I think it's going to be an alright season for Spurs fans. Maddison, of course, if he stays injury-free, will be good for them. Van der Ven, we know how good he is. Him and Romero, great partnership with Udogie on the left back and Porro on the right back. There's a solid defence. The midfield's the one bit where I think it's a bit weak, and they could do an area of improvement. But I think it's good enough for 5th place. I think they'll have a good season. Place now, and I'm going for Manchester United. I think they're going to get Champions League again. I don't know how well they're going to do. Ten Hag, obviously they looked alright against Man City in the Community Shield, and I think it's going to be a good season for them though under Ten Hag. He's brought in all his Ajax, like De Ligt, what a signing. Lenny Yoro, I know he's injured, but what a signing that is. Mazraoui in for Wan-Bissaka is one shaky one. I think Wan-Bissaka is better than Mazraoui. I'm not sure why they've sold Wan-Bissaka to us for 15 million, but I'm not complaining. So yeah, but they've got good squad depth. Casemiro's the one weak one, but I think they might be getting Ugarte. If they do, that's very good for them. But yeah, 4th place. 3rd place, and I'm going for Liverpool. I think they're going to have a good season under Arne Slot. I think it's going to be a bit of getting used to though. I'm not having Klopp for once, but I think they're going to have an alright season. Not made any signings though. They do want Mamardashvili, the keeper. I'm not sure, but I think they're doing alright. I think the squad's already good enough to come 3rd, and I think, yeah, 3rd place. 2nd place, and I'm going for Arsenal. I think they're going to come short again. Obviously, every season, 3rd season in a row, this is going to happen if it does. But I think this season's going to be a lot closer. I think I think they might actually. I still think I might put them first. I'm still torn because I think Calafiori is a great signing, and I think that they need a striker. To be honest, they might be getting Mikel Moreno. I'm hearing that's nearly been there. We landed by the little kid on TikTok. But yeah, I think Arsenal come second. It's a lot closer. Normally in these things, I normally just stick Man City first and I stick with it. But this season, I'm actually torn. I'm torn between putting them first, but I'm going to go with what my head actually thinks, and I think Man City's going to win, but it's a lot tighter than I think. But Arsenal, second place. Champions League run's going to be a lot better this year than it was last season. Obviously, they got knocked out to Bayern Munich. I think it's going to be a lot better, and they could even get to the semi-final this year. That leaves first place, Manchester City, of course. Yeah, Pep Guardiola. I think it's his last season, his contract. They've signed Savio, which is a good signing. I think he's a pretty good player. Of course, they've got O'Reilly coming through academy. He looked pretty promising, but their squad depth is just unbelievable. They've got Haaland. If he's last season he got injured and they still won the league. But yes, I think they're just gonna win it. Predictions there. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, please. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Matchday vlog Saturday. See you then. Saturday against Villa at home. See you there.